Pastor Julian here with Central's devotion for today. Last Sunday I was preaching on the discipline of prayer and fasting, and thinking about prayer. There's so much that I wanted to preach about in the sermon, but I only had so much time. This is something that I wanted to put in there that I didn't have time to put in. So check this out. It comes from the Gospel of Luke, chapter 10, verses 38 to 42. And it's a very familiar passage. It has to do with Jesus visiting Mary and Martha. So listen here. As Jesus and his disciples were on their way, he came to a village where a woman named Martha opened her home to him. She had a sister called Mary, who sat at the Lord's feet, listening to what he said. But Martha was distracted by all the preparations that had to be made. She came to him and asked, "Lord, don't you care that my sister has left me to do all the work by myself? Tell her to help me." "Martha, Martha," the Lord answered, "you're worried and upset about many things, but few things are needed, or indeed only one. Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken away from her." So Mary and Martha. Martha was upset that Mary was not helping with all of these preparations and chores that needed to be done to be hospitable to Jesus and the disciples. But Mary, she wasn't doing the work, but what she was doing was she was sitting at Jesus' feet, listening to him, giving him her full attention. You know, prayer, a huge part of prayer, which you might not realize and is something that you need to add into your prayer life, a huge part of prayer is listening. Listening to Jesus. Listening. Even if it's quiet, even if nothing is necessarily coming to you right away, being patient and listening. Because God is speaking. Jesus is speaking. Something else I want to point out to you here is that we will often think that we should be doing something productive, and that prayer isn't productive because it doesn't require a lot of our energy. It doesn't require us running around doing something, and we can look at afterwards and say, "Look, I accomplished that. I finished that. I got that done. Look what I did." Instead, it requires you to be humble and still and patient. Don't think that just because you have other things to do or that you're busy, things that you'd be more productive doing, that that prayer isn't more important, because it is. I remember in college, I used to have tons of work to do. And whenever I found myself stacked with work, I would take that opportunity to break away from all my work, go be alone, and go to God in prayer for a chunk of time. And that's a practice that I still do, because I think that when you're busy and you have all these things going on, a lot to do, it's easy to forget about that time with Jesus and just be consumed in busyness and productivity. Stop yourself in those moments. Get alone and pray. Because you're going to find that when you return to your work, you're going to be more effective, you're going to be more efficient, and God is going to bless it because you've made him a priority. What I see here in this passage is that being with Jesus is more important than working for Jesus. See, Martha was working to serve Jesus, to be hospitable to him and the disciples. You would think, well, working for Jesus is more important than anything, but not here. here in this passage, what's most important, and Jesus makes it clear, being with Jesus is more important than working for Jesus. So go to God in prayer. Be with Jesus, because it's the most important thing. God bless you and have a good day.